Kaz Clark has been searching for the answer since 2016, when the Welsh resident came face to face with a UFO.
What I saw will stay with me for the rest of my life. I was completely challenged on everything I thought I knew and believed.
It all started in 2016 in Kaz's hometown of Penturk, Wales.
Penturk is beautiful. It's a tiny little village at the top of a mountain where you can see in every direction. You've got these ebbing fields that roll away from you for miles.
But over a 3-night period in February, Kaz is awoken by an unusual sound.
It was quite loud, and I'd noticed this plane just flying very low and very slow over my village in a figure-8 pattern. And a bit later, a second plane turned up to take its place, almost identical to the first plane, and that would continue the same flight pattern, and the first one would leave, and then later it would come back and they'd swap again. And this went on all night.
Disturbing not just Kaz, but the entire neighborhood.
I can imagine for the people living in this small little village in Wales, suddenly having military aircraft show up out of nowhere would be quite startling.
People were wondering what's going on here.
For years, Penturk residents have become accustomed to noisy planes passing overhead.
We have an RAF base about 14 miles away from us. So occasionally we get military aircraft that fly over, but we don't actually get any that stay. And we had 2 aircraft that stayed for 3 days and 3 nights.
But it's not the oddest aerial event locals have experienced. This region of Wales is also known for its frequent sightings of aircraft that are completely silent.
This is an area that is definitely known as a UFO hotspot. There's a large number of sightings for a very long period of time. And in fact, the activity is strong enough that it's been called the Welsh Triangle.
And even more interesting, its most famous case involved an actual UFO landing.
On February 4th, 1977, a group of students from the Broadhaven Primary School in Wales witnessed a strange object land near their playground.
It's an astonishing case.
That garnered a flurry of media attention nationwide.
The spaceship, it looked a cigar shape with a dome on it. And it had a yellowy, orange to red light on the top of it.
The drawings that the children produced were very similar. It really says that something might have occurred.
Their pictures emerged as the most eerie and creepiest things out of this case.
But many, including the military, suspected it was just the children's imagination, or perhaps they misperceived an ordinary aircraft or helicopter.
It's really not surprising.
It's actually quite common for military officials to obfuscate and otherwise hide from public view some of what's going on.
It's something Kaz would encounter when she inquires if the planes circling over Penturk are a part of a military exercise she isn't aware of, but she receives no response.
There are classified projects, perhaps there are maneuvers that are very, very sensitive.
But on the evening of February 26th, Kaz witnesses the shocking reason why the military planes are circling overhead.
I decided that if these planes were still there, I would come out and watch them. And I heard what I thought was a missile coming. It was very loud.
Kaz turns to see what appears to be an E-3 Sentry, a large military aircraft used primarily for surveillance, and it's coming in fast.
She didn't really know what to think about this because it was so outside her normal experience. It's reasonable to wonder, like, what is going on here?
It certainly wasn't ordinary.
Just how extraordinary, Kaz will soon discover.
I remember it like it happened yesterday. The E-3 Sentry had started to circle, and then this bright red light became visible high above the trees behind my house. I never expected to see anything like this. I had run to get an unobstructed view, and this one red light turned into 3 red lights.
Finally forming what Kaz describes as a large pyramid-shaped craft.
I was in awe of what I was seeing. This thing was enormous.
When you see a real, silent, massive triangle, it cannot be compared to anything else. For the witnesses, a lot of them think they're actually losing their minds.
It was the most spooky thing I've ever seen in my life. This thing didn't come down from outer space. This thing emerged through the space, like it came through a veil into our world.
Kaz knows this is no terrestrial aircraft.
This was no way man-made. There was no sound, no downdraft, no nothing.
Kaz needs to get evidence of what she is witnessing.
I've reached for my phone and it won't even switch on. It's completely dead.
Electrical effects have been often reported by encounters with UFOs. People will say that they've tried to get photographs or recordings, and yet they were unable to. There have been stories of cars that had their electrical systems fail completely when in fact they've been operating normally up until then.
And Kaz Clark's unworldly experience is about to get stranger still. The large pyramid craft appears to be landing.
The pyramid was turning very slowly anti-clockwise, and as it approached the ground, it ejected like a hand of lightning. That's the only way I can describe it. It's thick, like fire, like fingers.
Kaz then hears more military aircraft approaching and realizes this is what they are searching for.
The military knew it was coming. They were definitely prepared. They were waiting and watching for this thing.
When you really stop and think about it, it's astonishing.
Especially in what Kaz sees happen next.
These objects come out the top of the pyramid, and I didn't see any of those because I was so fixated on it touching the ground. These two barrel-shaped objects approached from across the field, and one of them stopped at about 20 feet off the ground and about 20 to 30 feet away, and I just stared at it. And then I felt it scan me and stood in shock. I was so afraid for my safety.
Clark's frightening encounter produced some unexpected after effects.
It turned my hair white overnight. Completely white, which is a little bit of a shock in the morning.
Which sounds crazy, but this is a detail that does turn up in other cases. People who get too close to a UFO will actually experience a change in their hair color.
Kaz contacts the Department of Defense to see if she could obtain any information about what she witnessed. Their response is shocking.
They said that they were doing a military exercise. No, I can categorically assure you this was no exercise. This was a real event.
Kaz makes it her mission to uncover the truth.
I wanted to check out the landing site. I wanted to see if there were burn marks on the ground, to see if there was any physical evidence of this thing, this pyramid craft.
Kaz's home video shows the shocking evidence she and her neighbors found.
Like phosphorus, isn't it? That's what that's the white. Something burnt that tree up there. I don't know if we can get up there and get a sample of that. That would be good.
We'd gone over to what I call the near landing field, where this hand of lightning had come out of this craft. Everything was dead. Everything was dead. All the grass, the gorse bushes were all dead. Like something had sucked all of the life out of them. There were 60-foot trees snapped mid-trunk.
See the scuffs on the trees?
12 to 14 inches thick.
Yeah, and this one here, the skinny one, yeah.
And burn marks on the surrounding trees.
At least you can see the discolor in there.
This was strong physical evidence.
I mean, there are broken trees.
To be certain, Kaz has the landing site tested for radiation.
They tested the ground with a Geiger counter, and it detected radiation. And the radiation there was so high, it was the equivalent of being X-rayed for 2 hours constantly. And people were made ill from being there. The whole team suffered from headaches, nausea, burning skin, burning eyes, just from being in that field for less than an hour.
When a UFO lands, when it actually touches down, often it will leave types of radiation. This can be very dangerous.